let me just start off by telling a story. And it's a story that just recently happened, but it's indicative out of all the stories that I could tell about my interactions with Dr. Pollard, the incredible, amazing things. Folks are going to laugh when I tell this story, but there's actually a reason why. So we were just at the Pride flag raising ceremony, and Dr. Pollard was standing there at the podium giving her remarks. And of course, we're in the midst of cicada season. And this cicada decides to land itself right on the side of Dr. Pollard's head. And I'm standing there looking as though, what should I do? Should I try and flick it off? But I don't want to distract her. I don't want to interrupt her remarks. So I decide to be polite, and I go up there and I gently flick it off, and it flies back onto her shoulder. I'm like, geez, this cicada is determined. So I go up, step up again, and I flick it off of her shoulder. Now, all of this time, Dr. Pollard has been continuing with her remarks. And just in something that only Dr. Pollard could do, paused, turned to me and said, "Thank you very much, Councilmember Rice. I always knew you had my back," and went right back into her remarks. It's indicative of who Dr. Pollard is, and regardless of any kind of thing that tries to throw her off, remains focused on the mission. Never swayed from what she was trying to do and accomplish for this community, for the students of Montgomery College, for people who she knew were marginalized, who had a bad hand dealt to them, sometimes by no fault of their own, and who just wanted to see them succeed. And did it with such grace, with such distinction and honor, such fortitude. It is not easy to be the leader of a large community institution that rivals four-year institutions in terms of size. It is a lot of work. It is challenging. It means sacrifice for herself, for her family, for her son. But she still, every single day, led with that same dedication, that same commitment to making sure that she could make a difference. And I know that it was instilled in her by her upbringing, and is something that says so much, because I know that she most recently lost her father. But whenever I hear people say lost, it makes it seem as though the connection's not there anymore. Her dad and what he instilled in her will always be there, and it made her the great leader that she is today. And so while I understand that for many in our community, we see this as a loss, I see this as a gain, because any place that can benefit from the greatness that is Dr. Darian Pollard will help to spread throughout this world and make this world a better place. I really do feel that way. That is not just because we are here today honoring you. I feel as though you have a gift to give to this world. And by you doing that wherever it is, whether it's at Montgomery College or whether it's in Nevada, it doesn't matter. The reality is that you're still giving. And that we should be thankful for. I just want to close with one thing. On behalf of my family, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, who both matriculated through Montgomery College, and for all of the people whose lives you have changed and set on a different trajectory because of the commitment to them, I thank you. I salute you. I honor you. And I tell you that we are blessed to have known you. Let me turn it over to my colleagues, starting with Councilmember Juwan.
Thank you, Councilmember Rice. This is a day that I think all of us were not looking forward to, the official, saying goodbye for now from Montgomery County. But, as Councilmember Rice said, I mean, we have been, and I mean we in the most broadest terms, this county, this state, each of us individually and collectively have been really blessed and fortunate to have you as long as we did. I've said it in other forums, but I want to remind people 11 years for a community college president, for any college president, is an extremely long time, and particularly for a community college president. And not just, you just weren't treading water. You were, taking steps, making innovations. I was with you just earlier last week. You're coming out, you're going out guns a-blazing, and forgive the analogy, but you are not just kind of biding your time. You've been working all the way through this last budget and through this COVID year, and it's just a testament to your work ethic, your care, your concern for this community. I know you and your partner, you have raised your son in this community. It will always be a huge part of all of your lives, and so we're just thankful. We're sad but thankful, and you are going to be bringing a wealth of experience and knowledge. I've often said it, you've built up what I believe, and I know many of us, all of us believe, is, if not the best, in the top tier of of community colleges in the nation. That's your legacy here. And it is one that we will strive to keep up for the benefit of our students and our community. And just really thankful for it. Nevada's gain, our loss is their gain. You're going to continue to make history as the first permanent African-American woman president of a college in their system, in their state system, as you made history here. And so it's just fitting that we would take the time. As I said, I alluded to this a couple weeks ago. I will bring up a couple things just quickly. A lot of people don't know about Dr. Pollard. Her college, her master's thesis was called Terry McMillan, Pop Icon or Brilliant Storyteller. And I wanted to bring that up because it's connected to something that I love about you. You have exemplified for your students and for us in elected office and public officials how to be fully who you are, and not put that aside, and also be fully excellent in your work. I think oftentimes there's a lie that says you have to conform to some sort of mold, and you've been fully who you are in every interaction. And it's given, I know, many of us, and I'm sure your students, license and confidence to do the same. And for those who don't know, Terry McMillan wrote Waiting to Exhale and How Stella Got Her Groove Back, and some great, and the fact that you were right about that in your master's thesis, I just thought was pretty cool, and people would want to know. But you just thank you. I just want to thank you. We're going to miss you. Hopefully you'll come back and visit us, but thank you for what you've done. You've left us in great hands, and the college is in well positioned to help us navigate out of this crisis, thanks to your leadership. So thank you so much. Love you.
Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you so much. I think that my companions here are going to be going to a room soon because they're going to start barking really loud because they always wait until it's time for me to make remarks, and that's what they'll bark. But that's just to break the ice, because I do want to share, starting off with just some, personal reflections. I want to thank you because you came to the county. I think I had just been elected to the county council. I've only been there for like 6 months. And the very first thing I recognized in your leadership style was something that was very important to me, which was to be authentic, to come to these positions fully and be present fully, knowing that for all that we always talked about Montgomery County being so extraordinary, diverse, and so inclusive, the reality is that many of us were breaking ground, right? As women of color, we were breaking ground. And so there's a responsibility that comes from that. And when you're just starting out, you're trying to kind of get yourself situated and understand the awesome responsibility of what that means. And so I felt so fortunate that that you had begun your tenure, because it was a way to find a kindred spirit in many ways, and to watch you from afar, and to really, be able to admire and appreciate the way that you had set the tone for your leadership for this extraordinarily important institution. And so every time I think about you as a visionary executive, which is very hard to find. Either people are really good at vision or they're really good at executing, but it's so hard to be a visionary executive. So I think of you as somebody who has embodied the inclusive concept of leadership. You know, you model that, and you kind of had to, because Montgomery County, as it stands, it's 78% students of color, and so to be able to stay true to that kind of, you know, institutional culture while navigating the extraordinary mosaic that is Montgomery County in all aspects, you had to be able to model that type of inclusive leadership. And it was always rooted in the spirit of abundance and generosity. That was the first thing I recognized in you. That, you know, when we had the most difficult budgets, you know, right through a recession, I was actually surprised when you came and said, I recognize we're going through difficult times. I understand what the numbers say. I know where we're headed, and therefore I will be your partner. Which wasn't the case for other situations in other institutions. And that right there just really gave me comfort, because it was kind of like, okay, we're in this together. We're going to get out of this together. This is so critical for the future of our county. And so I think about you as somebody who is leaving a legacy that has shifted the paradigm, now to this concept that, you know, when you expand opportunities, you can create excellence along the way. And that's what you've done for so many people. You have proven that it is possible to expand opportunities and to, along the way, secure excellence no matter what. And so that is something that I hope now has become the status quo here in Montgomery County. That's what shifting the paradigm means. It means that now whoever your predecessor is going to have to be somebody that understands that this is our norm, that here in this beautiful place full of just extraordinary people with so many different stories, that we can be that model. And now when you go to Nevada, of course, you will take that same spirit. But I truly, truly am so grateful that you've left this gift here in Montgomery County, because as we recover from COVID-19, as we experience everything that we experienced in 2020, I keep saying that I hope we keep those lessons close to our hearts, that I hope we don't forget everything that occurred. And in honor of all of that sacrifice, that we have to do better. And so you've left the blueprint. And I just think it's amazing and extraordinary that you've done it consistently. You never had to, you know, change who you were or try to adapt or you were authentic all the way through. And education is important, but I think for the students that you have, you know, let through this institution, that is probably the most important gift that they take with them from now on. So thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias. And I do hope I get to visit you in Nevada or something like that. I've never been, so maybe I'll get to do that. But thank you, and thanks to your family who, you know, they're amazing as well. I know that you couldn't have done what you've done without them. And so I thank them as well for sharing you and for everything, everything really. And we'll be watching you carefully to see what other amazing things you will do. Thank you.
Mr. President, I also wanted to give an opportunity, and I certainly understand that all of us have had a great opportunity in working with Dr. Pollard, and I see all of our colleagues are on the call at this moment. So I did want to, starting with you, sir, give an opportunity for folks to just say briefly, I know we have another proclamation, but did just want to give an opportunity, because this is such an important position, and Dr. Pollard has impacted so many of us, whether it's districts, whether it's education, economic development, whatever the case may be. She's had such a huge role. I want to give an opportunity for everyone to be able to say something if they'd like to, sir. So start with you.
Sure. Thank you, Chairman. Dr. Pollard, I know we spoke about this, and I was there for this Cicada incident. and appreciated once again your focus and determination to get through that minor challenge and so many others during your tenure. I greatly appreciate all your leadership, all your innovation. You've completely remade the position and remade the college. And we'll never meet all the students whose lives are changed and who go on to fabulous careers, and all because of your hard work. And that's the mark of a great transformative leader. So I'm very grateful as a council member and council president, but particularly for the students of the East County in my district. So many in Tacoma Park have benefited from your leadership. We're looking forward to the Isaiah and Catherine Leggett building that we've all been advocating for so many years. But to be able to work with you on the feasibility study to get that in last year's budget, and now to have the vote of the Board of Trustees under your leadership to begin looking at a fourth campus, starting with a center, hopefully in East County, and be working with your staff to identify a site for that, is going to not just transform the college, it's going to transform our county and the East County in particular, where our students need career pathways to living wage jobs. And they have three times the pre-COVID, they had 3 times the unemployment rate of the rest of the county. And you've stepped in and you're providing a long-term solution to that. So I've been honored to work with you on that and so many other initiatives, and I wish you all the best in the future. Thank you so much.
Vice President Albornoz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well said by everybody on the committee. You guys nailed it. Dr. Pollard, you are just such a rock star. We're going to miss you so tremendously. All of us are in thousands of meetings over the course of a year. And every time I happen to be in a meeting with you, whenever you would speak, I would stop, I would listen, and I would try my best to absorb all of your words. Because every time you spoke, as Councilmember Navarro said, there was a spirit of authenticity. And you have this unique ability to be able to connect dots in ways that many can't. But you don't just have the ability to connect them, you have the ability to authentically bring coalitions of people together to get us all moving in one direction. And that is a skill that is in short supply right now, that we desperately need. And so you will be missed, but you have done just an absolutely extraordinary job. And as you know, and as I like to say, my parents met at Montgomery College, so I owe my life to it. It's a very special institution in our family, and we could not have been more proud, including my mom and dad, in your leadership these years. So big shoes to fill, and look forward to working with you in the future as well. Thanks so much. Job well done.
Councilmember Freeton.
Thank you so much. I am so happy that we have an opportunity to say how we feel and our affection and appreciation for you, Dr. Pollard. I'm sad that we're saying it because it means that you are moving on, and we wish you all the best. I'm with Council Vice President Albornoz. I found myself every time I was in a meeting with you listening a little bit harder and paying a little bit more attention because I knew there would be a nugget of wisdom, but also scrambling for a pen and paper because I knew that you would say something that I would want to repeat because you always have so many pearls of wisdom that you share. It really has just been an honor to be able to serve with you. Montgomery College is so much more than just a community college, as important as a community college is in a community. And you have been so much more than a president to that institution, playing so many roles in our county, in our community, both formally and informally. And I was talking with my team about the shoes to fill your position, and we decided that it was more like a Cinderella slipper than big shoes that couldn't be filled, that we might have to go all around the country and all around the county trying to find somebody who could quite fit all of the different crevices of a slipper that you've somehow managed with such poise and such power to be able to demonstrate, and doing so in a transformational time. And doing so in a trailblazing fashion. And that will be forever remembered in our county. The lasting impact that you have had on generations of students will continue to be felt. There will be a lot of seeds that continue to blossom in Montgomery County, a lot of shade that many of us will be appreciated by the trees that you've planted. And so I just want to thank you for everything that you've done. Appreciate your friendship, appreciate your leadership. We wish you absolutely all the best on a personal level, but as a collective county leadership, we are wondering how we are going to find somebody who could fill all the different roles that you took on with the college and well beyond in our county and in our region. So thank you so much, and look forward to seeing everything that you do in your new role.
Councilmember Glass.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Dr. Pollard, listening to all my colleagues, as we have been meeting with you and praising you, rightfully so, over the last few weeks, your influence and leadership is so appreciated and has been felt, I think, not only inside the college and the 3 campuses, but clearly outside and across not only the 500 square miles of Montgomery County, but the entire region. And now you're going across the country. And what I appreciate most about you is your unreserved and open and honest conversations in any space. You are you, and you are a blackout proud woman. And I so appreciate you. And I know so many other people appreciate you as well, because your adult life has been about opening hearts and minds to education, to opportunity, to career channels, and to civil rights. And so the people of Nevada don't know what's coming. The Board of Trustees out there might, but the students and the population out there should look forward to your leadership, not only educational, but moral leadership as well. And so for you and your wife and that dude you live with, safe travels to Nevada, and your legacy will be long felt here in Montgomery County. So thank you, my friend.
Councilmember Katz.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Dr. Pollard, so much has already been said, and I certainly associate myself with every one of their remarks. I do think it should be noted that it was mentioned that you don't like cicadas. It's my understanding, now there again, I haven't done a scientific research, it's my understanding that Nevada has many more cicadas than we do. So if you'd like to reconsider, I have a feeling that there would be unanimous support to have you reconsider. You know, public service, we do many things that are important to the public, that are important to people. But I think none of our what we do is as important as when you change a life and you save a life and you make a positive change for that person. And you certainly have done that prior to Montgomery College, certainly during your tenure with Montgomery College. And I, as a person, I attended Montgomery College a few years ago, and it certainly does do all of the things that we wanted it to do all of these years. And you certainly have taken a great place and made it greater. And so, you know, candidly, it saddens us to see you go. It really does. I mean, we're all emotional about this, but in that other breath, I mean, for the greater good, you're going to be saving lives in other places other than Montgomery County. We're going to take credit for it. I mean, what you're doing is certainly what you're doing, but we're going to say, you know what, we were with her all along, and we're certainly with you all along again. So thank you, and we look forward. And I have been to Nevada, and I'm not a gambler, but maybe I'll be convinced to come back and visit again. We're going to miss you that much. So thank you, Dr. Pollard. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilmember Reamer.
Thank you. I hope I'm not spoiling the uniform professional presentation by being in my car here, but I'm doing double duty as a parent, as I know Dr. Pollard has throughout her tenure here. I'll just add that for me, you know, Dr. Pollard, you have really defined in such a helpful way the character of Montgomery County. I think there are certain iconic personalities who people in the community look to for a sense of identity about who we are. and how we think about the future and what our vision is, and who's coming together to achieve that. And you've been that person for me, and I think you've been that person for a lot of this county. And I'm really grateful to you for it. You've really, I think, in some ways, mentored this county through a time of real change and possibilities, endless possibilities, and progression. So we will miss you, but we're proud of you, and we salute you and wish you the best. Thank you, Dr. Pollard.
So, Dr. Pollard, before we begin the proclamation, I just wanted to share with you one thing. And I don't mean to make you cry, but this one may. So last July, I reached out to you about a young man who was considering going to McDaniel College, who was trying to matriculate into Rutgers, and was working with his mom in terms of what the best route to be would be for him. And I remember, because it was late, I think it was a Friday. It was about like 5-something in the afternoon. And you were actually at a restaurant. And I texted you and I said, hey, I'm really stuck. This young man reached out. He went to Gaithersburg High School, went through the Brothers program, and so was reaching out because he knew that I was chair of the Education and Culture Committee, and asked me for help and advice. He and his mother weren't sure about what the best thing to do was. I reached out to you immediately and said, hey, what do you think? What do you think the best options for this young man are, to give him recommendations on how he could be successful? We came up to the conclusion, after you had done some thinking about it, and said that the best thing for him was to go to MC, because it would position him well from a grade perspective, as well as a number of the scholarships that they would be able to leverage to be able to then go on to Rutgers, which was his dream school. I just want to share with you that he reached out to me not too long ago and told me about his success at Montgomery College, about how he had gotten all A's and B's and was on a pathway in order to be able to attend Rutgers University. It's one of thousands, if not tens of thousands, of examples of how you've changed the trajectory of people and set them on a pathway for success. That is what you have done, and you should know that your legacy will remain strong long after you've left and gone to Nevada. So I salute you, and again, thank you for everything that you've done. Colleagues on the Education and Culture Committee, let's go ahead and begin with the proclamation. Whereas Dr. Darian Pollard has served as the president of Montgomery College since 2010, with a distinguished tenure that has elevated and strengthened the college through innovative partnerships that prioritize the inclusion and lifting up all students by fostering equity and access and success. She revised developmental education, emphasized homegrown talent and workforce development, and implemented an unprecedented educational partnership at the Bioscience Education Center in Germantown, with the co-location of Holy Cross Germantown Hospital at the Hercules Pinckney Life Sciences Park. And
as Dr. Pollard inspired and continues to inspire those around her to strive in their achievements for both themselves and those in their community, while addressing racial inequities by speaking truth to power, because words matter, by pioneering the idea of radical inclusion, and creating the President's Advisory Committee on Equity and Inclusion in 2017, before it became a national discussion. And
whereas Dr. Pollard supported Dreamers at Montgomery College by being the first to offer in-state tuition, reveling in gloriously diverse student body who were at promise and reflective of our community. She envisioned the expansion of global partnerships as well as intentional alliances to include the Achieving Collegiate Excellence and Success Program, Community Engagement Centers, and the Presidential Scholars Program. And
whereas Dr. Pollard led with grace, gratitude, kindness, courage, and clarity through a worldwide pandemic, meeting the immediate needs of the college community. An inspirational and thoughtful leader with a deep commitment for stronger and more just community. For more than a decade, she taught us the value of community colleges as the most transformative institutions that empower students to change the trajectory of their lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby extends best wishes as she begins her next adventure to Dr. Darian Pollard, and be it further resolved that we share our deepest gratitude for the valuable and enduring impact she has made on the students and residents of Montgomery County, Maryland, presented this 15th day of June in the year 2021, signed by members of the Education and Culture Committee, myself, Councilmember Duando, Councilmember Navarro, and of course by our council president. Dr. Pollard, congratulations. Madame, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you all so much. I've told somebody that I'm perpetually dehydrated over the last couple of weeks as I have this goodbye. And I have to tell you, this is deeply meaningful to me in so many levels. I'll be brief because I know you have an agenda, but I want to thank this council and the Education Committee because I get to spend a lot of time with you, and you all have given me a model, an image of what real service is like and what legislative potency can be when used in ways to advance the community. I'm so grateful that I got to have relationships with each of you, and also got to see what it meant to actually lead in a community and lead with your values. I'm grateful to the Board of Trustees of Montgomery College for at that time seeing something in me that thought that I would be a worthy leader of this organization. I'm oftentimes attributed, and I loved listening to the work that we've accomplished at the college over the last 11 years. And oftentimes it's attributed to me, but it's not. What I often tell people is if I do my job well, I give a vision and I get out of the way and let people begin to do that work. And the faculty and staff of Montgomery College are by far some of the most exceptional human beings that I've had the pleasure of working with alongside. And it's been an honor to work with them. In fact, my senior leadership team and I were in a retreat literally right now preparing for this year because they believe so deeply in what this college's commitment should be to its community. To the students of Montgomery College, oh my gosh, I loved, you all know that the best part of my job is getting to interact with them and to hear their stories and to understand why Montgomery College exists for them. And I'm hopeful that you all will continue to support their stories, to give them space and residence in the history of this county, because they are truly some of the, they're not just the future of Montgomery County, they're the present, they're the past, all in one spot. And it's an honor to have been able to advocate and support them. I'm grateful for my family. I love the fact that so many of you know that the thing that's most important to me in life are these people that I get to do this journey with, a wife who's loved me and supported this craziness for 31 years. And is still somewhat resentful of the fact that she's packing right now. But I know for a fact that she's always said she would never stand in the way of whatever I was doing. And to that dude that we live with, as many of you know, he is truly a Montgomery County boy. And that's a whole nother story. And grateful that he lived in this county and grew up here. And then finally, I almost was through that. I thought a lot about this. I said, Montgomery County owes me nothing. This is a beloved community for me. I learned that budgets reflect values, and this council did that over and over and over again. I learned that this county and this community believe that education is singularly one of the most important things that can be done. You can't have economic development or workforce development. You can't have a safety net if you don't invest in education. That is something I learned from this community. I learned that a government must privilege both its safety net and also privilege the way that brings revenue to that safety net. I've seen you do that, and I thank you for that. But most of all, what has prepared me, and I will tell you very clearly, to go to Nevada and lead Nevada State College has been this lesson that I've learned from this community and this council, that the dignity and the quality of life that we treat people with matters most. So thank you for those lessons. Thank you for being home for me and my family. Thank you for letting me be a part of this truly transformative community. And this is home, because as Miles told me, he said, Mama, we're coming back for Thanksgiving. We're going home for Thanksgiving. So that dude that we live with will always see Montgomery County as home. I will always have a part of myself in this home. And I also know for a fact, and thank you all for mentioning it earlier, my father, he loved Montgomery County. Every time he was here, he got up in the morning and he watched NCTV. He watched Montgomery County media. Even at home, some of the last messages I got from him and said, what's this about? Oh, I like how they made this decision. And I thought, well, at least we knew we had one person watching all of these things, because my father watched all of this and was thinking about how he could relocate to Montgomery County. So thank you so much. It has been an honor, and I hope I've served you well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pollard. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. President, back to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and all colleagues. Thank you so much, Dr. Pollard. We wish you all the best.